Well, thanks for having me. I am Ryan from Wakelet. I am one of our digital learning specialists. And what that means is my job is to be the go-between between the product team at Wakelet and the educators across the United States and the globe. So our job is to, be that facilitator in between Wakelet and the product team and the educational system. So things that we like to see, things that are working in the classroom, trainings, all of that comes from Tisha and I as the digital learning specialists here at Wakelet. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. As you can see with our content, feel free to connect with us on Twitter. You can also email us directly. So it's ryan@wakelet.com. You can also email Tisha if you have any questions. You can have tisha@wakelet.com. You can follow our profiles on the wakelet.com/ and just our names, as well as on Twitter at RyanMcGTech. So a well-designed curation project requires a ton of critical thinking. And we think of that, the ability for students to curate resources and materials. We have students all the time working on projects, and it could be open-ended projects. It could be PBL activities. It could be a STEM lab activity. But all of those are meant for the students to have free-flowing thoughts that they can tie together into a single thought process. And that's where that power of Wakelet comes in, is being able to be that avenue, that skeleton, that structure that helps deliver the content to everybody in a singular section. So we'll go over briefly what Wakelet is and how it works in the classroom before we talk about practical classroom applications as well. So Wakelet, of course, is that curation platform that allows you to improve student collaboration. We're really there to help students curate and collaborate together, working with materials from across the web. Anything that is web-based is able to be brought in. And the idea behind Wakelet Collections is that we are empowering students to own their learning. So whether that's through that curation, reflection, or just being able to gather up those resources that you send out link after link after link through an LMS. This helps keep it a little bit more tidy and neat throughout that classroom application. So of course, we look just like any other educational tool. We're hoping to help students understand the content. We also want them to be able to analyze the content that you're giving them in the classroom, but also to evaluate that content and think about how it impacts them and their learning as well. One of the things I like about Wakelet is the fact that it is not always at the forefront. It doesn't have to be this big, bright, shiny tool. What it does is it kind of fades to the back, and it lets the focus stay on the learning standards and the active learning, just like any good tech tool should. It should fade to the back and not be all about the tool itself. But you see that we support active learning and all of those C's: the collaboration, the creativity, the communication, the citizenship, as well as bringing in student organization, a crucial piece that I've learned is missing from students. Again, Wakelet allows you to tell your story. It allows you to tell your students' story from their point of view by bringing in any of the content from across the web. You see a couple of our partner logos littered throughout here. You see Spotify, you see Wikipedia, you see Microsoft Flip, you see YouTube. We have those partnerships that work really well with a bunch of platforms and apps, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move on through our session today. And the nice part about Wakelet, again, is it's powerful. It works with a bunch of different content. It's not just web links. It's not just text. It's documents. It's multimedia. It's videos. It's files. It's everything pulled together in a single location. It's also unlimited, which is nice, which means we aren't worried about being limited to a certain number of Wakelet collections the minute you open up your account. We're not saying you can only have 3 or 4 of these to start off with, and then you have to pay for more. That's not how Wakelet works. You have unlimited collections, unlimited items that can be added to those collections from the minute you open your account. And again, we're safe and secure. Because we're based in the United Kingdom, we have to comply with GDPR, which is way more stringent than the United States privacy laws in place. But just in case, we are also COPPA, FERPA, CSPC, and New York Ed Law 2D compliant. And anytime you need a privacy agreement signed, feel free to ship them our way, and we will help get those taken care of for you. Wakelet can do so much in your classroom. Again, because it's that tech tool that's not focused just on the tech tool itself, it allows it to fade to the back. It could be just as simple as organizing your content. So today's session is becoming an organized educator through the use of Wakelet. That could be curating all of your bookmarks into single locations so that you know exactly where your content and materials might be. It also is a way for you to collaborate with other teachers in a PLC group where you can gather all of your materials and keep everything all together in a single location. It could be used for lesson planning where you have all of your materials, your PDFs, your videos, your homework assignments, your extra practice links, where you have all of that content ready to go with your YouTube videos. It could also be used for student assignments. What's really nice is you can create a template, send it out to students. Students can get that template, fill it in, and send it back to you. It could also be used just to gather their own materials and showcase their learning. Great for science projects. They can document their process in class. Great for research projects. They can gather all of their materials in a single location and then turn that in so you see everything all at once. It's also great for classroom newsletters and shortcutting that home to school collaboration. So being able to communicate with parents quickly and efficiently. Classroom newsletters are a thing that me, as a 17-year veteran in the classroom, were always a pain for me. Creating classroom newsletters that I printed off, sent home, and not sure if anybody ever really read. Now I can make those digital. I can make them a Wakelet collection where their things are actually clickable. I can have extra practice resources, and I can share with a single link through something like Remind or Parent Square or any other platform that my parents participate in. Of course, we talk a little bit about features because of what Wakelet can do. It does have the immersive reader built in. So anywhere that you add text to a Wakelet collection, you'll have that ability to have that collection and text translated into over 60 different languages and more. It can also be read out loud via that immersive reader, which is a great equalizer for our students. You have the ability to make and copy collections, which means you can find templates that are already pre-made for you and copy those into your own dashboard so that you can turn around and use those in your classroom, which really makes our library a one-stop shop for all the templates that you might find. Again, you can embed these Wakelet collections into things like your favorite blog, your website, or things like Canvas and Schoology. And of course, collaboration. You can share these to not just view the collections, but you can also invite them as collaborators so that maybe you flip the learning onto your students where you give them a collaborative collection and you say, can you find me one video, one PDF, and one website? And they contribute materials to the collection as well. We do refer to ourselves as the EdTech Party Bus. So getting on board the EdTech Party Bus because Wakelet works with all of the tools that you're already using in your classroom. This isn't a tool that you have to like shoehorn into your lessons. Wakelet becomes, again, that avenue, that party bus that allows you to bring in your Nearpod lesson. It allows you to bring in your Kahoot quizzes, bring in your Canva projects, and put them inside of a collection so that students can just focus in a single location on the content and on the learning, not worried about where they go or what they need to do. We've got a really great, powerful browser extension that works for Chrome, Safari, and Firefox. And you'll see it at the top of my screen. I can click that W and it's going to ask me where I want to drop that current website directly into any of my collections. Super easy, great for littles on the iPad app. Even my 6-year-old daughter being able to curate her Christmas list through the Wakelet browser extension or our fancy iPad and Android app. So being able to have this out and available for your students to utilize at any time on any device, whether laptop, Chromebook, or Android or iOS tablets. So just a little bit about Wakelet. And now we can kind of get into what Wakelet actually is. And I'm going to share my resource collection, which is the collection that's currently in front of you on the screen. So you'll notice this is Becoming an Organized Educator with Wakelet. You'll find my slide deck, so the presentation that we just went through sits at the very top. And then I've curated this collection of materials that we'll review all at once today. But some of you are asking, well, how do I even get started with Wakelet? And that's what wakelet.com takes us to. So you can see I'm in here as an incognito browser so I don't mess up my own sign-in stuff. But you'll see the ability to sign up for free. So all of those resources are available to you. And when you click sign up for free, you see all of the options available to you. Depending upon your school district, you could always sign in with Google, which is what we do here at Wakelet. You can sign in with Microsoft to save your teacher credentials ready to go. You can also continue with Clever or sign up with your own email if you wish. But once you do that, that takes you into your collections space. And your collection space, if you excuse my Wayne's World gif that's still going on right there, your collection space is where everything resides. It's your single space for all of your collections. And making a collection is extremely easy. You click on the Create a Collection button in the upper right-hand corner, and you give it a title. So in this instance, I can call it IDEA Demo. I can add a little subheading or a description. An example of how to curate resources. And right now it looks kind of stark, and that's also because I'm using the new dark mode that is yet to be released for everybody just yet. I can also toggle on to light mode right now for this presentation, but it's still stark and it doesn't look any better right now than just a bunch of links that are going to be sent out. So this is where I can start the customization process to organize my materials. I can click the design paintbrush and I'm met with a bunch of different layout options. So think about these as the skeleton structure for how your lesson or your collection could look. Media view gives you a top-down view where all of your content is started from like section number 1 all the way down to the bottom. It could be an order, it could be a process or a flow that has to be done. Compact squishes everything together, and we'll show you examples of all of these as we add our content in. Grid view is one that we just highlighted. It puts a 2x2 column of materials side by side. Really great for a compare and contrast or a debate option where students can put different materials, different content, and then have a opposing argument on each side where they can see differing viewpoints or content. Mood board, if we're familiar with Pinterest, you're familiar with the mood board, puts all of your material out there into a visually engaging mood board. And then column view allows you to sort your materials into columns, great for choice boards or for student playlists where they can pick and choose what activities they want to do. And you can change these at any time. So if you start off in media view, but you think your layout is better skewed for something different, you can definitely change that as we go through our layout. But it's time for what most teachers really care about, is making things look pretty and engaging for students. So down here, you can see the cover image, and it says I can choose an image and I can upload my own. So if I've already got an image I want to use as my cover image, I can also choose from Unsplash or Giphy. But I can also design with Canva. And what's really nice is with one click, I'm already into Canva through our built-in integration, which means I don't have to sign into Canva. I don't have to worry about anything that's out there. It's connected to my Wakelet account. And I can just quick and easily find one of these headers I enjoy, like welcome to our class. And I can change this right away. And I click publish. And of course, I can add all the things that are inside of Canva. I can change backgrounds, I can add elements, I can make it look super pretty, but that goes directly in there as my cover image. Again, with that paintbrush, I can scroll down a little bit more and I can choose my background image. So I can upload something else. This is what's going to help define the background around my content. For me, I like to go with gradients and I like to match them to whatever color theme I've been working with. So in this case, I'm going to go green with green. So now my content is going to stick out and be a little more visually appealing. And now I can start adding and curating my resources. So right away, you see I can paste any web address, anything that's out there that's available to me. If I have a Nearpod activity and I get that student paste, self-paced share link, I can copy that and paste that in here. I can also go out to any resource, like let's say espn.com, and I can copy, so I can Control C, and I can go back into my collection, Control V, and as I paste that web link in there, you'll see that it shows up directly in there. It's going to be clickable so that students can see exactly what it is. And sometimes it pulls the information in a nice way. I can see the ESPN logo here. I see the title. If I don't like that, though, I can click the three dots, the drama dots, the fallen snowman, whatever you want to call it, the dot, 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 dots of three, click on me. But you can click on those and you can click to edit, where you can change this little summary. You can change what the web link says, and you can even change this image. And you can, again, upload your own or design with Canva. So you can really get certainly specific with all of your content. So this works with any website, anything you want to bring in, but there's so much more. I can add text. So if I scroll down a little bit, maybe I want to add some text to this, and I click that pencil, and now I get a fully functioning text editor. Today, we will be curating our lesson resources. Space below, oh, sorry. Curating our resources, space below. And I can highlight, I can bold, I can italicize, I can make these headings, I can add numbered or bulleted lists, I can even add hyperlinks. So as I add my text, I just click off of that card, and now my text is in here. I can click down here for the plus sign. I've already added text, so now I can add images. So again, the same options show up again. I can upload my own images. I can design from Canva right away. I can also bookmark other materials. So as I go around and I view other collections through this search option, and we'll show you this shortly, you can pull up any of the bookmarks that you've already loaded from anything else around Wakelet, and you can bring in some of your bookmarked content, which is really nice and quick and easy for finding the materials that you use often in reference. You'll see you can upload PDFs as well. So you can bring in a PDF and upload that. And then lastly is the waffle of our integration choices, things that are built directly in here. I can search and find tweets based on a hashtag or just keywords. I can add flip videos. So Microsoft Flip, when I click on this, it's going to ask me to go out to Microsoft Flip just to verify who I am. It knows who I am. And then I can record a quick little video. It's probably going to tell me, my camera's going on and on. I can record my video. When I'm all finished, I just copy that link, the share link, and pop my flip video back in. I can search YouTube videos, so I don't have to go out to YouTube, find the video I want to use. I can search YouTube directly inside of here. I always wanted to be Bill Nye when I was growing up. So I can find a Bill Nye video, answer science questions, and click add. And what I love about the YouTube videos is that they play directly inside of our Wakelet collections. They don't pop you out to another window, so students know exactly where they are with the content. But there's also no ads or distractors. There's no up next playing. There's nothing coming on the side that students say like, oh, I want to watch that video instead. Let me watch this one. It works really well.
Greetings, Bill Nye here. Today we're going to do some science support.
So it's really excellent that students can view that content directly inside of there. And then lastly, because we don't take one side versus the other, we also have very deep integrations with Google and Microsoft. So your OneDrive or your Google Drive can both be linked into this so that you can pull your materials right away from inside of either one of those. And again, because we don't play favorites, we also work with Adobe Creative Cloud Express as we do with Canva. So both have options and buttons so that your students can get creative inside. So it's really nice as you can start building these out. And it's great that you have all of your materials in a single location. But now what do you do with it? So up here in the sprocket wheel, I can click and you see I've got other options. I can copy this collection. I can move this collection to different locations. So I can have different spaces for different materials. I might have like a science space for all my science collections, maybe a math space for all my math collections. Over here, I've got my conference collections, my weekly agendas. I even have personal things like recipes and vacations, things that I do that have nothing to do with my Wakelet work, but they're what I use to plan different materials. Inside of the Sprocket wheel, though, I can allow people to make copies of my own collections, which is great for if I want students to find that resource, but I also want them to copy it so they can access it at any time. I just turn that on for them. And then I can share this out, and I can allow sharing, and I just copy this link. And that's exactly what I did for that share link in the chat profile earlier. But what's really nice is you're not limited to just that. If you teach younger students, you can print off a QR code, a giant QR code that allows your students to use their iPads and maybe hit that QR code and up pops the resource collection. You can get an embed code, or you can go directly to Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams from here. So these are the options for students to just view and consume the content you send out. You can also send out a different version. This is for students to collaborate. So if I've built this IDEA demo and I say, man, I really want people to collaborate with me, I can copy this link here, or I can generate a join code or a QR, or again, through Classroom and Teams. And that allows people to contribute material to my collection. Great for student projects. If I've got 2 or 3 students working on a project together, I can give them a Wakelet collection for them to put their materials and resources into. Now, for safety and security purposes, we have this locked down really nicely. Students can contribute materials to a shared collection, but what they cannot do is erase other people's contributions. So if I'm in this group and I see, I'm looking at the windows here, and if Kathy's in the same Wakelet group as I am, I can add content, Kathy can add content, but what Kathy can't do is she can't go in and say, oh, I don't like what Ryan added to the collection. She can't delete my content. Only the teacher or the owner of that collection can do that. So students can contribute, but they cannot take away other people's work. So a great equalizer when it comes to allowing every student to have a chance. So we've seen how to create, we've seen all the options that are available to us. If I change our layout now, you'll see this is our top-down view. This is our media view. This would be great for like a single lesson. I can put just a top down here, work from letter A to letter Z, finish all of these items, and you're good to go. I can make it compact, which just shrinks all things down a little bit smaller. So more tightly wound up. Grid view, like I said, puts those 2 things side by side. So I've got scrollable 2x2 grids. My mood board allows everything just to be flung out there in a different method. So it doesn't matter which way they work through it. And then column view will allow me to set up different columns as a choice board. So anytime I can rearrange all of these materials. But let's talk about what we're here to look at, is some options for how this can help you become a more organized educator. And you'll see in that collection, I gave you some creative examples. So I made these little headers. They're made in Canva, but they're meant to just show you just different collections and resources. So how many of you really enjoy writing subplans? Anybody? Any hands? Any hands? I'm fairly certain no one likes writing subplans. So what we've done is we've created a subplan template. And what's really cool about this is it's one of those ways that teachers can become a little bit more organized. If you're like my wife, you try to roll out of bed and make your subplan like you're feeling really bad anyway. You try to go in 2 or 3 hours early so that no one sees you, right? Because you don't feel well, you don't look well. But what you can do instead is take this subplan template, fill the materials in, add in a picture of your daily schedule, type in some instructions and notes like keep Johnny away from Timmy. It's a bad combination. Make sure so-and-so, make sure it gets to this certain spot. I can add materials in here. I can even add a flip video. So Microsoft Flip just saying like, I'm all excited for you to be in the classroom today, or even it's a video to your students. I'm sorry, I'm not there. And then you put the activities that you want your students to do. You put the links to what you want them to do. And right now you're thinking that's not any easier than a regular subplan. Here's where the kicker comes in. When you click share this as a QR code. When I click QR, print this off and tape this into the corner of your desk and cover it with clear packing tape. And what's really exciting about this is in our district, substitutes could not have access to district devices. So they always had one of these in their hand. They could walk in, they could scan it, and up popped the lesson plan for the day. I could make that a collaborative link where they could write notes back to me about how things went during the day. They could take pictures from their cell phone and upload it to the collection, which makes it really nice. But that power comes from that QR code that's now taped to your desk. Now, a week from now, when you're out again and you don't want to go back in to make sub plans, you roll back into this template, you update all of these materials again, but that QR code still works. It's a static QR that links to the most recent up-to-date version of this collection. Super cool, super time saving, and really makes it easy for sub plans. We go back and we can see classroom newsletters. Classroom newsletters are long been an issue with trying to make sure that parents can be some sort of interactive, having resources available to them, but also know what's going on in the classroom in a timely manner. And we know how hard it is to get pictures and materials. And this is one that's pre-made for you. You can search and find this as well. I just like the way this laid out as a former elementary teacher and principal. This hits home for me, where I can put in the greetings for each month or each week or however often I do my newsletters. I can link in the important dates and reminders. I can type in just brief blurbs about here's what we're learning. And then for me, the power again comes from the student showcase. We all have phones in our pocket. We all know who's allowed to have pictures taken, who's not allowed to have pictures taken. But now I can take those pictures of the classroom activities or just the projects themselves. I can click, 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 and I can upload all of the students' work directly to that Wakelet collection. And it becomes a true student showcase. You can even have your students choose what they want to showcase each month, and they can pick what they want to get a picture of and upload it for you. And then at the very end, you can click and add more links and resources, whether it's you want your students to practice more Starfall or you have them do this really good math activity. You can put those links in there and it becomes an interactive link that students can and parents can click on and actually utilize. And they don't need to have a Wakelet account. All you're going to do is you're going to share this collection to view, copy this link, and send that out through your Parent Square or Remind app or whatever parent communication tool you utilize. You can embed this as a link on your teacher website as well. But it becomes a really great platform for shortcutting the home and school collaboration. The next one we show is just being a resource hub. We know teachers and educators share resources like crazy, but sometimes it's hard to find those bookmarks that you have in your Chrome browser. And you're like, where is this bookmark? Where is this bookmark? How can I find it? Well, you can create like a microsite. And in this case, this is all math lesson resources. Using the mood board layout, you can see all of the resources for math are available in here. They can quickly find what they're looking for, click on it, and up comes that resource. So this becomes a great way for a PLC group or a grade level team to share those resources in a single location. Again, all just done through that single share link, share to view, and everybody can come back to it and have it. Another idea is, as a former tech coach, how about a weekly resource hub? This is something that could be sent out every week. Every week they're adding like a new tech tool. So for the week of September 19th, you can put a link here, a link here, a link here. It could be a video of me demonstrating how to do something in the classroom. And then here is last week's. And this could just become a running record all year long of all of our technology integrations, especially great for PD sessions or curriculum sessions. This becomes a really great avenue for sharing your content out. Again, it utilizes that power of finding the single link and coming back to that material all at once. We've talked about the templates that are available to our students and teachers and how we can utilize those through Wakelet. So we have a whole template section called Wakelet templates. And those Wakelet templates allow us to navigate to the site. You can give it a follow, and then you can find different templates, things you can quickly copy and use in your classroom. One of my favorite ones that I show at every one of our conference events is a playlist icebreaker. So if I click on this collection, it's going to take me into this collection. And I'm like, oh, okay, a playlist. What is one song that if you wanted a song to play every time you walked into the doors of a classroom, what song would play? For me, it would be Panic at the Disco, High High Hopes, right? Like high high hopes that everything is just going to go smoothly and smashingly well. So what's cool about this is if you do this in the classroom and your students all add a school-friendly song that they would choose to have in here, you've also just generated like a little sense of community, because you could play one of these songs every morning as your students are coming into the classroom, and now they feel like they had a say in that classroom ambiance and atmosphere. And if you like this, you're like, oh, I really want to add this to my collections. You click the sprocket wheel and you click save, right? You can save it to your bookmarks, or you can just copy that collection and it's going to ask you, where do you want to put it? All right. I can put it in any one of my locations over here on the left-hand side and click copy. And then I will have it where I can tweak it and make it my own. I can change the background. I can change the cover. I can change the name. I can change the text. So really quick and easy to utilize all of these templates that are available. And that templates portfolio is huge. You'll find templates for everything. There's column templates, there's lesson plans, newsletters, distance learning plans. There's ones for just icebreakers and portfolios that we'll talk about next. So this templates area is a great location to find things that are already started that you don't have to do on your own. Another one that hits home for me is the research plan Wakelet template. So in this case, with this research plan, we do a lot of research projects, whether it's essay writing or they're researching a topic. Here, this becomes like their bibliography all in one separate section. They can paste in here any of the web links they've visited. They can add any notes or resources or things that they found throughout their research. They can click and add the images they're going to use in their projects. Same with any videos and PDFs. You can even add a column and say final essay or final paper, and they can write that in any word processing platform they want, but they can copy that share link and put it in here, and then they can turn this into you. And you now have a one-stop shop for all of their resources that they used in a single location again. So bringing that power home of being able to aggregate everything all into one spot. And we haven't even touched on things like the power of student portfolios. Student portfolios are a huge aspect when it comes to learning about what our students know. Assessments provide a snapshot, but those portfolios really tell the learning progression and story of our students. And the problem with using things like Microsoft Sway or Google Sites is that as students get older and they graduate, what happens to those accounts? They've spent 4 or 5 years working on a portfolio, but the minute they graduate, 2 weeks later, the school district cuts off those accounts, and now the students can't have access to those. Whereas Wakelet becomes a really great platform for these. And we've got some really nice looking portfolios. This is Honora, and Honora has an excellent portfolio where you can see the contact information in her resume. She's branded this nicely and thematically through the use of our Canva integration, so everything is consistent and clean. And for Honora, this is all built around the fact of being able to showcase who she is as an artist. And it's really hard to convey that. Imagine trying to apply for a performing arts college, but all you're able to do is talk or type about yourself. Through the use of Wakelet, she was able to put in YouTube videos of her performances to really showcase who she is as a performance art artist. So she's got her flute, her singing, her guitar, her visual graphics. And then later on, this expanded to become a jewelry business, right? So the entrepreneurship says like, oh, I've got a microsite. Maybe now I can spin this off. And Honora decided to start selling necklaces. So she linked in her Depop shop. There's pictures of each necklace that she's trying to sell along with the price. So the students went from just aggregating their content of who they are as a learner, and now they're starting to spin that off with a little bit of confidence. And they all don't look the same. Here's Julie's. Julie's looks a lot different than Honora's does. Again, still themed similarly, but not quite all done through Canva. Hers is all around baking collections. And then have you ever wanted to be the mascot at your school district? You can find out what it's like to be the mascot with action shots and skits and videos. So our Wakelet portfolios with students can become a really great use case for them. And students in classrooms, we talk about this, I know, getting our students in there. Students can have Wakelet accounts and it can be free, and we can have that ability to do so because we have a classrooms section. And if you don't see it, you can click on your icon and make sure your account settings say teacher or educator account. But when you have classrooms, I'll do it in another window just to make sure. When I go into that classrooms section, you'll see that I'll have the ability to pull my own classrooms right away. I can create a classroom and I can create it from Google Classroom or from Microsoft. So if I'm using either Microsoft or Google or Clever, I can pull those students right away. I can say Google Classroom. It's going to ask me to sign in and link my Google Classroom classes together. And then students can sign in with that Google account to have access to your classroom. You as the teacher can turn off things you don't want them to access. So if you think they're going to abuse the YouTube aspect of putting videos into collections, you can turn that off. You'll see these features have already been disabled. You can turn on what they're allowed to do. So if you want them to use Flipgrid, you can turn that on. But you'll see all of your classes then on the left-hand side. You'll see all of your students down here as well. And you'll be able to pop into each student and see exactly what collections they're working on. And then students can't see each other's collections. So there's no way that they can see what's going on in other people's collections. But it becomes a great way for students to have an account, for students to start doing things like digital portfolios in a nice, safe space that is secure based on our privacy agreements that we hold. So I put some resources in here for you about Wakelet student accounts, maybe how to get started. You'll see those down here. And then we've got a really awesome Wakelet student certified course. And this Wakelet student certified course is for all of you who are thinking like, I want to use Wakelet with my students, but I don't know how to use it myself. And that's totally okay. We made this course so that there are activities in here that will start students on the journey to creating their very first collection without you having to come up with the first activity. So there are the 3 modules plus a little quiz. It will tell them and walk them through this course. And at the very end, they're going to create their very first collection, which is an all about me collection, right? Favorite food, favorite song, favorite video, favorite movie, just favorite books, things about them that you could learn. And again, this is a free collection that's out there and available. Becomes really easy for helping students get acclimated to Wakelet. And if you're interested in maybe getting started, you have 1 day left because tomorrow, Tisha and I are running our very first live interactive webinar. So it is 10 a.m. Eastern time, which would be 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And with this, you can sign up at the link down below. That link will let you sign up, have your classes already imported from Google or Microsoft or Clever first. But we're going to be walking through the entire course from Module 1 to Module 3 and the quiz in an ongoing live webinar. So we'll ask questions, we'll talk to the students, we'll get some responses back. We're going to walk them through that process so you can put us up on the smartboard and let the learning happen. We've also got a really excellent student ambassador program. So if you want to teach your students some digital skills, some digital citizenship skills, that student ambassador program will walk them through a couple of different modules where they can learn how to become a student leader. And again, they earn that student ambassador program badge, which is really cool. And they get a certificate at the very end. We've got collections on the sustainable development goals. And this is one of those things, if you're a PBL based teacher and you want your students to work on some projects, there are collections that have been curated from educators around the world that are based on those 17 challenges of the sustainable development goals. So if you want your students to work on affordable and clean energy, they can click in. They'll see information about the SDG, what education do they need, what is involved, what's the materials, and then there's projects for them to do so that they can create something based off of that collection itself. So we link those in there as well for you. And it's always important. We have a Wakelet community, and it is probably the single best thing about our whole aspect is our community drives everything we do. I am a former community member as well. I worked my way from member to leader to ambassador, and I just joined the Wakelet team back in July. So I've gone through this progression. You can click and join the Wakelet community. You can apply today to become a community member, get you some swag, get you some official trainings you can join. There's monthly webinars. After a little bit of time and you've been in that community member, you can apply to become a community leader and start spreading the joy and love of the Wakelet platform. And then as you use it more and more, you can apply to be an ambassador, which allows you to step in for us when we can't be in different locations to present on Wakelet. And you get super awesome swag. You get a different shirt than everybody else does. And then you can become a Wakelet ambassador as well. And then lastly, there's a couple more things we want to cover before the end of today's session. We have a masterclass every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And I realize the timing for you is like right in the middle of the start of the school day, but you can sign up for these and then you can get the recordings when they're finished, much like today's session. So this Wakelet masterclass, I believe, is this one here. You can sign up for those webinars every Tuesday that you are able to. Can you share the link to the form if we are doing conference presentations? Yes, I can definitely do that, Carrie. So you can sign up for this Wakelet Masterclass every Tuesday at 9 a.m. They have this, even if you're not going to be there, you can get the recordings. And then Tisha and I, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., we do the Pro Series. So for anybody who has been using Wakelet, they can also go in and do that as well. That's more of a practical applications in the classroom. The masterclass gets you like using Wakelet, and then the Pro Series is all about the pedagogical approaches to solving the problems in the classroom. So we've got those linked in here. You have a Wakelet Schools program where your whole school can start to become a Wakelet school. You get a really cool banner and a crystal trophy. And that's all based on a school-wide initiative and push to start utilizing Wakelet, all the way from the admins down to everybody in the classroom, and just being able to share and utilize Wakelet across the area. So with that being said, are there any questions about the content? As I see Carrie's question here that I'll make sure I get to as well. Yeah, what I'm also going to add in here is you can contact me again on Twitter at Ryan McGtech. My email is ryan@wakelet.com. Some more questions coming in. We have never done the classroom portion of Wakelet, but during presentations, I may run into people that have that capability. Is there a link with instructions I can share with attendees? Or about the classrooms themselves? Yeah, inside of that collection that I shared. Let me pull that back up here. So inside of that, the IDEA collection, the first one I would share with them about classrooms is the very first one. Here's the Wakelet student accounts. This just helps them get started with the accounts. It's just a quick little thing to import their accounts, how to get started, how to select their class. Once it's authenticated, you're all set. But then here is how to use it, and all the videos are in here. So here's getting started with classrooms. So all the resources are definitely out here and available for you to utilize. So everything I tried to add in here, all in one-stop shop. Again, just showcasing the power of Wakelet. I can send you one link and you can get all of our resources and materials all at once. How can I start to use Wakelet? I am a candidate student. Jacob, you can go ahead and just go to wakelet.com. If you're a candidate student, you're obviously old enough to create your own account. So go to wakelet.com, use any email address of your own to create your first account. And when you're in your account settings, after you start it up, if it doesn't automatically realize that you're an education account, you can click on the education account and get started. Later on, when you get a teaching job that you can send out. No, it's not the same one as the pro. I'm trying to find that one still, Carrie. But yeah, Jacob, just go ahead and sign up. Any email account you use, then you can go in here and click education account and you're all set and ready to go. Later on, if you change jobs and you go to a school district, you can always change your email. So you can go in here, type your new email, your password, and then that'll update to your district email as well. I'm trying to find the Pro Series link, which we've messed all over the place. This was our last Pro Series. All right, well, if you need anything, if you need any help, feel free to reach out. We're really excited. I am an ambassador and somehow got dropped from the monthly meetings. Oh, Carrie, we'll definitely try to make sure we get you put in there for sure. Let me find that for you and we'll get you put back on those meetings for sure. Try to think what else. We are going to be starting a Wakelet a Twitter community group for Wakelet Midwest. So all of our Midwest states, we're going to band together and have a little Twitter community. We're getting started on that right now, but of course, with some changes at Twitter going on, our community creation has been paused for a moment. But once that comes out, you'll see us blast that all over the area and just say, feel free to join our Wakelet Midwest collection. That's where we'll send some timely updates. We'll let you know about things like Carrie's asking about our Pro Series. We'll make sure you know when all those resources and materials are. You'll know when we're coming to conferences around the region so that we can come around and see you and you can come and see us. And the swag request. Let me see where I can find that. I know I have that because people keep asking. And you see the PDH link is in the chat, so please make sure you do that as well. And at the end of that collection that I shared out, there is also a survey for us at Wakelet. So if you had a chance to, take that survey for me, just let me know how I did today. That'd be great as well. Carrie says, my co-trainer and I was able to represent Wakelet at Nebraska conference last May. It was awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we love being able to share. We can't be everywhere all at once. Like I said, there's just Tisha and I in the United States. The rest of the team, right now they're currently doing a tour of the United States. That's not the usual case. So we love having our ambassadors represent us for sure. All right, let me try one more time to find the resource link. I know it's part of our yes, I have I'll be able to get it, or I'll be able to send the email to IDEA and they'll be able to send that information out to everybody. So I will find all of these instead of me just trying to look around for it. I can ask the people who know the answer right away. I know Adam will know, but it's 10 o'clock his time right now. So he will not be looking for that link for me at the moment. But I will send out everything you've asked for. So I'll make sure the swag request, the Pro Series, I'll make sure the Masterclass series is in there as well. And if there's anything else, please reach out. And thank you for joining us today.